We'll now move to the citizens who are opposed. Ms. Haselden, you have 10 minutes. Did you want to go now or after the single folks? Okay. Barbara Haselden is speaking for herself. Nancy Davis, Celia Labitz, Sully Grasso, and Alden Burnett.
So now I can put things on here, is that correct?
Put it right in the middle where it says place document here.
Right there, it's very clear. I don't need that quite yet. Yes, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Barbara Haselden, and I'm here really representing myself and South Pinellas 912, which is representative of really thousands of patriots in the Tampa Bay area who have the same attitude about what we're going to speak of. And I can't agree more. I think we have so much in common, the people who have come up here today and those of us who are in opposition, because of the people, by the people, for the people. I just could not absolutely agree more. And the mantra today is to let the people decide and to put this on the ballot. And why is it that anyone would consider obstructing letting the people decide? And I have an answer for that. We have lost trust in the process, and there are plenty of reasons to mistrust the messaging that will be coming forth. First of all, it started last year with the tax swap, HB 865. We knew then that the deceptive and misleading messaging to the voters would be employed to convince the Pinellas County voters to support what the Hillsborough County voters had turned down with the tax increase. And that was the simple language of calling it a swap. There's nothing that you can even begin to call a swap when you're talking about $32 million in ad valorem tax for $130 million that would be generated from a 1% sales tax. There's no swap about that. Revenue neutral would be swapped. So we knew then that we really had some false messaging that was going to be employed. The Tucker Hall contract, another item that was just amazing to me, breathtaking as a business person, and that is that a contract would be awarded to Tucker Hall, a powerful public relation firm in Tampa, for $300,000 of our tax dollars, with the express mission stated to devise a campaign to convince the Pinellas voters to support the referendum and pass it in 2014. Where is our PR firm? How will the public hear the other side when the Times and the Tribune will be carrying the messaging issued through PSTA? How can the PSTA board, which many of you sat on, advance their agenda using taxpayer dollars, approve the awarding of that contract last year with the knowledge that the assignment for Tucker Hall was to present just one side, to convince voters to pass the referendum? Not to educate on both sides so people could decide, but to launch a full campaign to win over the public's support with my money. How is this legal? Is it legal? Then we go on to the Hart-PSTA merger, an idea to force Hart to play ball, combine forces to regionalize, to strengthen grant applications, when we are in Pinellas are having a declining population and they have a growing population. So for applying for federal grants, we need that population increase to show on paperwork. And I might say to the Savannahs, which bless your heart, honey, I have got kids twice your age, the whole country is experiencing job loss. So I don't think that not having a light rail is the reason you can't find a job right now. And at 21 or 22 years old, we've had this economy for, what, about 20% of your life? So since you've been 18 or 19, this is what we're living. But it's not about the fact we don't have a rail. It's about the economy, which is the result of decades of spending by bureaucrats on boondoggles and entitlements that have now come home to roost. It's happening all over the world. In the Hart-PSTA merger, Hillsborough voters already said no to the same 14% sales tax increase in 2010, and they pushed back from the table on the deal. Then the idea of the Joint Power Authority was hatched in order to get around the need for a referendum to merge. Yet Hart still fought off the JPA plot, but PSTA has now gone to Pinellas legislators to try to introduce legislation, and I really don't know where that stands. The bus study. This morning, driving over here, I heard Commissioner Welch on the WFLA on the news break talking about that if we don't find a new funding source, that PSTA is going to have to cut their route by 18%, that they're operating on reserves, that they're going broke. I've heard certainly CEO Miller express that he may have to cut routes by as much as 30%. We now have a bus study with preliminary data in from this independent bus study, which is a study of PSTA routes that has apparently not been done in over a decade. Does this show?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this slide, I think, tells the story about the need for transportation in Pinellas County. And this has got to do with all of the routes. Is it on the screen? Okay. This has got to do with all the routes and the fact that out of all of the PSTA routes, and down to here are the buses, and from here to here are the trolleys, and here are the buses that were talked about that go over to Tampa. We have 5 local routes, according to the independent study, that account for nearly 50% of the ridership. The PSTA trolleys down here account for another 13%, so combined we're talking about 60% of the entire PSTA system is being only efficient in these 2 areas. And this, I might add, is sometimes free or 50 cents a ride. If you park, sometimes you can ride for free. So what we have is all of this down here that 18%, 30% eliminated. Do it. Do it now. Cut these routes. Take the buses, take the drivers, put them over here so that the people in their wheelchairs do not have to wait an hour, so that the kids can get a ride to school, because we would have more frequent and reliable service. We have, according to your own bus study woman, she said there's way too much being employed in inefficient, too much resources that are going in inefficient routes down here, that all of this could be dedicated over into what is working. Ridership claims. Bev Sloan, the elderly lady, who is a very prominent bus rider in PSTA, offers up the story, and I'm sure she's typical, that she has to transfer 3 times to get to the mall and 3 times to get home. And CEO Miller confirmed for me the other day, that is 6 rides. So when we see in the newspaper, the Times, the Tribune, every place, ridership up, up, up. I know ridership is up, but I have to tell you that this down here is why we're seeing empty buses all over town. It's because we have all of these buses that are riding less than 15 people, not all of them, most of them down in this area, less than 15 riders an hour. So the ridership may be up, but the transfers are up, and that is causing the numbers to look good. The other day, I saw in the newspaper, because now I want to talk a second about just the business sense, just the business sense of what we're talking about. This picture was in the St. Petersburg Tribune. This is a picture last week of 8 $600,000 buses that were taken down to the Coliseum to be shown off, and as a part of this campaign. This is the kind of propaganda we're going to be seeing, is these $600,000 buses, $4.8 million, but it says here that they were purchased with federal grant money. What the heck does that mean? Is that free money? Is that money from Mars? That's my money. That's your money. This is what's killing this country, is this kind of mindset, that this money doesn't count. Now, when you take this 8 buses at $600,000 apiece, and you look back, why do we need them? Why do we need those buses? Why do we need a train? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I have lost faith. And that's why I brought suit, is because I have lost faith in the messaging and the things that is being told to the public. So no, I think that if we are talking about loading up boards and committees with supporters only, who are advancing the idea from one committee to another with only about 25 people on 12 different committees, trying to make it look like a big consensus. Control of the media, controlling the messaging, controlling the dollars, and the conflict of interest serving on multiple boards. The rush to vote before the term limit case is resolved. So let's see how honest the referendum language will be, because I don't trust what I have seen come forth with an honest question on a referendum that might sound something like this. Do you voters support a 14% sales tax increase in Pinellas County, raising our sales tax from 7 to 8% to allocate to build a light rail from downtown St. Pete to downtown Clearwater and doubling the PSTA bus system with feeder buses to the rail? Let's put that on the ballot if we're going to put it on a ballot. And thank you very much.
Thank you.